gentlemen.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Hello. So why do I start with hello? It's because to us at Ready School, this is really where integration begins. When two people meet for the first time who've never met each other, but who might share a future together. And of course, this is a very specific conversation that you can see in this picture, where Rami, who is a young man from Syria, is having a new friend come around. Of course, you'll recognize that it's Mark Zuckerberg sitting next to him. But what I really enjoyed sitting on the other side of the table was to really listen into the conversation that was taking place here. Because Rami was asking Mark for some advice. Because Rami has studied computer science for a couple of years in Aleppo, and he had observed that when he is having a conversation with his mother, usually via smartphone and it's an SMS, his mom feels really, really far away. And like every mother, she wants to know, is my son eating properly? Are you sleeping? What is it like being in Germany? But what he has also realized is that when he's having a video Skype call with his mom, all of a sudden she feels a lot closer. And what Rami, being a very smart, geeky guy, is thinking about is, what kind of conversations can we have in the future when we have virtual reality and augmented reality? Can I then have a different kind of connection with my family that are still back home in Syria? And Rami really, really wants to make a difference and wants to build these kind of technologies. So having the opportunity to have that conversation with Mark Zuckerberg was a big thing for him. And in that specific moment when he was asking that question, we could just see Mark's eyes were starting to light up. Because in that moment, it didn't matter that on the one side it was a billionaire and the other it was a refugee. In that moment, it was just two geeks having a conversation about what kind of technology that they would both like to build in the future. And this is very much what Ready School is about. When technology works. So let me just give you a little bit of an overview of the refugee challenge that we're tackling. The numbers can be quite staggering. We had about 800,000 refugees arriving, mostly from Syria, to Germany in 2016. And the numbers clearly show that it takes a very long time for refugees arriving in a new home country to actually get a job. After 5 years of arriving in the new home country, only 30% or less actually have been in their first job. And this is a huge cost to the countries that they arrive in. But the good news is that currently there's 55,000 available jobs in the German IT industry. And this number keeps growing year by year. So where other people might see a refugee challenge, we like to see that there's a refugee opportunity. At Ready School, we're looking at creating what we call a win-win-win situation. So we want to be a place where the refugees can go and learn and really feel at home and build the skills that are necessary in order to help them get a job. But we also want to help German tech companies find and have access to the talents that they need to build their business. And if we can bring these two parties together, we're also starting to solve big challenges for government as well. Nope. Is that a magic word? Here. I'm standing too close to you. Here's better?
I'm not going to say the name of the brand of the remote control, but maybe that's just 2 meters that are going to change everything.
Let's see.
Let's try again, sorry, Anne.
So we started at Ready School only 2 years ago, first with an idea, then we started with a pilot project, only with 12 students, really testing out if this hypothesis and this idea that we had would truly work in practice. We learn very fast, and from then we've been able to, in our last semester, have almost 225 students participating in Berlin, and we've just launched our second school in Munich. So how does it work? These 2 meters did make a difference. We, first of all, have the principle of co-creation. So really thinking deeply about how do we talk with refugees and not about refugees. So all the way along, we invite our students, our alumni, to come back to become teachers and mentors and help us build the program that would truly make a difference. Here's an example of our course catalog in the semester that is coming up. You can see that it's modularly built. And the idea is that we can take people from only being a user, so not having worked anything on the back end of a computer, and bring them up over modular courses to actually get junior position jobs in IT companies. And we've also recently started a program specifically catered for women, which is a lot more basic. But the idea is that we take the top 1% of the refugees who are interested in technology, but also knows the language and knows the culture of the refugee population in Germany, and bring them back as mentors to help women and to help children learn the technology skills that can help them integrate better. When you start at Ready School, you get a laptop that you can have for the 3 months of each module. And all these laptops are donations for-profit companies. We don't believe that you need normal certified teachers to be the teachers at our school. Instead, we think it's a much more efficient way to actually work with volunteers who are coming in once or twice a week for a number of hours to teach our students, because they can be the door openers into a company. So when your teacher, say, is from Amazon, and he can see that there's a really good student in the class, he can invite them for a lunch, also make an introduction to the HR department, and all of a sudden you have the first step to finding your future job. But we also work with large tech companies. Oops, one back. This picture was taken at Microsoft, who was doing one class on cloud computing in Berlin. It was taught in the Microsoft office by Microsoft people in a Microsoft-relevant technology. And when you work closely with our students over 3 months' time, this, of course, becomes a wonderful place to recruit new talent to hire inside of the company. When we kick off a new semester, we always start with a one-day workshop where the students work in teams to locate one specific challenge that they're facing in their daily life in Berlin. And you can see some examples here of paper prototype that the student teams were building just within that one day. The one in the corner that you can see behind me here, GB Games, actually stands for German Bureaucracy Games. And the observation from our students was that in the gaming industry, having challenges is actually something that is fun, that makes you improve and want to overcome and become better. But German bureaucracy is also very challenging, but it's certainly not fun. So could we bring these two principles together and actually say, could you gamify, could you build small little app games developed for the refugee population so they would know exactly where to go, where the papers were, and how to fill them in the correct way. But we also like to take our students out into the tech world in Germany. We go and we visit startups, accelerators, the tech departments in large companies, and also large companies like Facebook is in one of the pictures here. Because we think it's very important that our students learn how to navigate the tech scene, and that they also realize that there are many kinds of jobs and many different kinds of personalities that are needed by the tech sector. Laurent, I think you need to come stand next to me here. Yeah.
You know what they told me, like true story? They said, it's because the computer is on the left and you have the remote in your right hand. I swear this is what they told me. You can, the guy sitting there after we can.
Okay, I shall stand here and keep it in my
Now you see, everything's going to work.
Interesting technology, isn't it? Wow, and now it goes really fast. It's got a life on its own. Okay, let's see the next slide, and I just talk. Okay, good. Okay, at the end of the 3 months semester, we always end with a big demo day for our students, where the students are on stage and they are presenting the projects that they've been able to build, combining theory and practice in the last 3 months. This is turning interesting. At the end of the 3 months' time, what you get from us is a certificate that you've been through the... Oh, now it went black here. Gosh. Okay. Anyway, if not, I'll just talk to you. It's also nice. At the end of the course, you get a certificate that shows what you have been through. You get a yearbook that is explaining exactly what is Ready School and how do we work. But most importantly for us is that the students will have their own GitHub depository where they can really demonstrate the skills and they can specifically show the code that they have been working on. Now the big question is, of course, does this actually work in practice? And I'm very happy to say that it really does make a difference. We track our students when they graduate from the program, and the rough numbers are that about 50% are either in paid jobs or in paid internships. We can see that 30% are back at university to complete their degrees, but also 8% actually decide to become entrepreneurs and start their own businesses. And what is important for us is really to show a different perspective and to bring hope for our students. Here you can see Rami again. He is now in a full-time job in the German tech sector working for Klöckner, which is a steel distribution company. Assem is in the middle. He's a university student now, but teaching our youth course at Ready School. And Omar is here presenting in the EU, because that idea of German bureaucracy games actually became a startup, and it's now called Bureaucrazy. And it is an almost like Amazon tracking system, so that you will always know exactly where in the process of getting asylum your papers are. It's very temperamental. But we also like to inspire thought leaders and see our way to be a lobby organization for thinking and rethinking integration in a different way.
We're going to do something. We're going to do an exercise after.
Yeah.
We're going to go through the stage with the remote, like every 10 centimeters,
yeah.
And then we see from where it works. The thing is, the computer is there. So
like
intuitively,
this?
exactly, that's like the like fifth advice they ask me to pass on to you. It's you know, the question is, thank you. Like, why didn't you guys say that in the first place? They wanted to make fun of us. I'm very sorry, Anne. We'll cut 3, 2, 1. I'm leaving stage. You can resume.
Okay, we're almost through. I'm glad somebody had to test the system here. So back to the impact that we have. We are also very happy that we've partnered with Facebook and actually been able to build the first digital learning center in the world in Berlin, which is a place that has 3 classrooms that is teaching refugees, as we're working with, but also teaching children and teaching elderly people how to use the potential of technology. And here you see Cheryl Sandberg, who were at the school 1 year ago opening it. The funding model is always a question, so I'll just be completely transparent. We work with a very, very large network of different funders, all from the public and from the humanitarian sector. Up until 2 months ago, we had not received 1 single euro from government or for the EU, simply because it's too bureaucratic, and when you have a crisis, you need to be able to move very fast. The big companies that you see in the middle are our biggest sponsors. The way that we work with partners is that you can either come in and support everything that we do, but we also work specifically on creating programs with companies. Companies come to us with challenges that they want us or the students to work on. But of course, they can also provide internships and jobs for our students. The future plans that we have is that right now we're in the process of scaling to Munich. If that works well, we'll scale to Hamburg. But we have about 20 different cities around the world. The last one was in Brazil. We also have South Korea wanting to start a school. But it's been important for me to have a nail it before you scale it strategy, to really stay small, make sure that what we're doing is the right thing, that it has an impact, and then we can scale from there. I also want to make sure that we are starting to target more young people, because we know that 50% of the refugees are actually under 18, and they're suffering, and technology can really make a difference to their future. So with that, please be in contact afterwards. I'll be here for a little while.
Thank you, Anne. Let's try something. Try to go to the next slide now. Does it work? Yes. Now wait. Point the remote in this direction. Okay, and now try again. I thought it was me that was interfering, but no. Actually, because I was standing here and I thought I was the one, with my fake heart that I was stopping the waves. Thank you very much. And people, it's very, very inspiring what you do, and you say you're scaling to other countries. Are there any plans to do something similar in Switzerland?
If we find the right partners, we would certainly like to do it here. For us, it's always about finding actually the real people inside of the organization who can make the difference and can see the potential of it. We like to see ourselves as sort of building bridges between the for-profit, the non-profit world, and creating innovation in both places.
So you have 1,500 people in front of you from very, very diverse backgrounds, people from large organizations, startups, NGOs, government. Who are the ideal partners for you? Who should come to you at the break and say, I want to help?
I would say probably to start it here, we're looking at a budget of probably 300,000 euros. Anyone who has that in your back pocket.
Oh, in Switzerland, it's going to be 3 times that, but...
True. But for us, we like to think that we don't start in a new place before we have 2 years of funding, just to make sure that we can actually experiment and adjust the program.
But typically, it's going to be corporates, large corporations. It's going to be the government. Like who could be relevant for you as a partner in general?
I think the biggest benefit that we've seen is really working with the public sector, because they have such a big need to invest in talent, and we have a big talent pool both amongst our volunteers and the students. But for me, coming from a humanitarian sector originally, I like to see these two play with each other.
It's not one organization, it's a consortium of organizations. And are there actually education organizations helping you, like universities, or do they see you as competitors? Or?
We work with a number of American universities, and they like to send people to us, and we are working with Stanford and Harvard right now on doing a case study on the lessons learned, so I'm quite excited what will come out of that. But so far, it's been very hard to find a way to work with the big institutions, I think, because we move incredibly fast. We're very impact-oriented, and that can sometimes be hard for the big systems to kind of know how to work with us. But now that we've been operating for 2.5 years, it gets easier because not so much is getting reinvented all the time.
One last question, why are you focusing only on code right now, and could what you do be applied to humanities, for example?
We are a school of digital integration, so digital is always going to be the core of what we do, but digital can be so many things. It can be data analytics, it can be user interface design, project management. So it's very many different skill sets that I needed. So I think it's important to also know specifically what is your focus and then stay with that focus. But we can see that we can build apps, we can build websites, we can build dashboards that can have a huge humanitarian impact. And when these systems can be built by refugees who've been through the refugee experience, I hope that we'll have much more effective and efficient systems.
I think there was a stat in Mary Meeker's Internet Trends, if you know this famous VC from Kleiner Perkins, and I think 65% of the largest tech companies in the US have been founded by first or second generation immigrants, like Ian Koum of WhatsApp, or Steve Jobs was actually a Syrian refugee. one of the co-founders of Google, Sergey Brin.
Yep.
And so it can be a huge addition to a local economy. Thank you very much, Anne. Sorry about all the technical issues.
No worries.
Somebody's already trying to get some chocolate for you.